What do being crew? It's your boy Savon Thomas. We are back with episode of Coffee and Friends. We are now on season 6 of the Gilmore Girls. Actually, you just wrapped up technically season 6 of the Gilmore Girls. There's only one more podcast after this, sadly. So last podcast or last two podcasts with this crew. But per usual, we got Amanda, Taiwo, Michelle. Um, Amanda is also becoming a flight instructor. That's why she has a big headset. Yeah, exactly. So that's why she has those headsets. But no, so we talked recently, so I don't feel like doing like what have you been up to? Because we literally just talked. But I want to see, like, it's been a couple months. Have you guys watched anything interesting? I was talking about the TikTok thing. I'll talk about that. But has anybody else like watched anything interesting? Movies, TV shows,
I
recently
started
other than
watching
Gilmore Girls?
Virgin River.
Virgin River. What is that
It's a show on Netflix.
about? Can we get some details? Give
The
us.
Virgin River.
It's about this girl
It's an
from
untouched river.
California that moves to this small little town called Virgin River, and then she like integrates in the town, and there's just a lot of drama and stuff. It's really just like that. It's pretty good though. Like I've watched it pretty quickly.
Is it a teen drama show? Like essentially like high school kids, stuff like that?
No,
What age
she's a
is she?
whole adult. She's
Okay.
a whole adult.
With a job?
Yeah, she's like took a job out there, so she moved into the small town as like a doctor's assistant, not a nurse, I guess. Anyways,
But it's pretty good though.
I like it. Yeah.
Okay. So that seems like to be your vibe because you love Gilmore Girls, small town vibes.
You know what's
This
so
show-
funny? That's literally what Zach said. Because he travels for work, and so I like started Virgin River because it's like a show that I can watch on my own. And he's like, "So that's all you watch is just like dramas in small towns?" And I'm like, "I guess so."
Yeah, it seems to fit.
Yeah.
Amanda's style.
Guess so.
Taiwo, Michelle, anything? Have you guys seen anything interesting?
I don't know.
Terrible too. If you watch a terrible movie too, because I've heard Madam Web is an absolutely terrible movie, and so I'm interested to watch it for that reason.
What's the show? There's a show I saw on Amazon Prime, a movie that was really good. It's about time travel. Needle in a Time Stack.
Okay.
That was a really good movie. It's time travel. I don't know if you like sci-fi, but like you're able to go back in the past and change the past. If you like it's very expensive, so they're in this very modern society. Like maybe think 20 years from now, everything is powered by AI. But they're able to change the past. And I love the movie because there's also like a love story around it. So basically, the whole movie is about this guy trying to find the love of his life, but he had gone to the past to like change something so that he could be with her. But the movie is just about his experience and whether they eventually at the end they were able to get together or not. I don't want to create a spoiler, but like it was just very wild, like something like the conspiracy theorists would enjoy, because it was like, oh my gosh, this is what the government is trying to do, is like be able to do all these things. Yes, so it was
Nice.
good.
Have y'all ever seen The Butterfly Effect?
Mm-hmm.
The old movie. I don't know if
Oh,
Ashton
Ashton
Kutcher's in
Kutcher.
one. I was about to say I know he's in one of them. I don't remember which one. But it
First one.
sounds like, is it in the first one? So that's what it sounds. Not. It's kind of similar to that, where it's like time traveling. But the thing is, like the story of that one is like anything that you do in the past will affect the future. Like it's smallest thing, like a butterfly flapping its wings affects a tidal wave in China in 2021 that floods everything. So that's kind of like, I don't know. When I think time travel, I always think about the butterfly effect. That movie.
That's good.
Michelle's muted, so I'll tell my story. So I was talking about Risa Tisa on TikTok. So, Taiwo, do you have TikTok?
I don't have TikTok, but I know the story.
Okay, so I am deep off into the Risa Tisa TikToks. So there's this lady for all my Bean crew watching this. There's this lady on TikTok. If you have TikTok, go find her. Her name is Risa Tisa. She has 50-part story about like the manipulations of her ex husband, like his lying, his like crazy stories. Like he played arena football, quote unquote. He's supposed to have like all his money in offshore accounts, and there's just so much stuff that like that goes down that you're just like, what is like who like people deal with this? Like it's kind of it's so crazy. Like everybody's on the internet's been talking about it. So I've been watching it.
You
So
actually watched the whole parts,
no, I'm not done yet.
everything.
I'm on episode
Oh,
30. I'm on
there's an
TikTok 30
episode. Oh,
because each TikTok is 10 minutes each. Like she takes the entire time because the maximum amount of time you can make a TikTok is 10 minutes.
wow.
So each part is 10 minutes. So every time I'm like cleaning my house or
You
like
put it on the
whatever,
back.
I'll just have it on in the
Nice.
background. Like it's kind of funny. You see TikToks like showing people watching it, and like people are like they'll
Nice.
have their phone shared onto their Apple Play to their TV and be eating dinner
Oh
watching
my gosh.
watching this lady's story. Like it's gonna be picked up by some type of
I hear
broadcast at
that
some
she's
point.
got like lots of sponsorships now.
She does. So she like in this story, she talks about like how her husband loves seeing her get excited for stuff, only to let her down. Like they would go
Wow.
look at houses. They like he put in like offers on houses, like sign offers, and then like the real estate agent would be like, "Show me proof of funds," and then he would be like, "Approve the offer first. They don't show you proof of funds." And so he never showed proof of funds after signing it as a cash option for like $700,000 houses. Anyway, it's crazy. And so the funniest thing is they went looking at cars for a long time. She talked about the story looking at cars, and she loved a BMW X5 with cognac interior. She talks specifically blue BMW X5 cognac interior. It's a suburban. And then everybody on TikTok's been tagging BMW, being like, "We need to get our queen this suburban
Not a
BMW."
queen.
Fast
Did she
forward,
get it?
fast forward. Yesterday, BMW puts out a
I'm
TikTok
sure she did.
saying that Risa Tisa will get a
Yes.
BMW with
That's
cognac
good
interior.
marketing.
Crazy,
What the
crazy. Like,
heck?
and that specific BMW is now sold out.
Yep.
That's
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 marketing.
wild.
2024.
So where is her ex-husband? Like, is he gonna sue her
Yeah.
for saying all this bad stuff about him?
So great question. So
Really?
so
That's a
so
very good question.
because this is so big. I don't know if this guy is a real guy or not, but TikTok found him.
Oh, of course they did.
TikTok found him. TikTok community found this guy. His name is Jerome McCoy. Something
Not
like that.
Jerome.
Oh
All
my
the
gosh.
time.
And
Jerome.
they
What?
found him.
Every single time.
And they found him, and so he's been making stories like saying that first of all he said he was like, "You're lying, you cheated on me. That's really the true story." And first of all, he's a liar. So like everybody's like,
But
"Jerome, we
nobody
don't believe
believes
you.
him.
We don't
We don't
believe you."
believe
And then he starts posting like his bank statements, and then people are finding the same photos of bank statements, and he just copies his name and kind of photoshops it.
He
And so
kind of
he's
lies
getting
to
caught.
cover up.
He's getting caught in lines, right? Risa Tisa just posted this TikTok story like a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks. I think it was yesterday or whatever, posted a video talking about I'm on day 16 with Netflix, going to share my story. Everybody's like, she just posted this story
2
7
weeks.
days
Not
ago.
even
How are
day
you on day
16 yet.
16?
Maybe
Wild.
he did a pre-recorded show.
and then
Dang it, Jerome.
and then he posted like again, this is all stuff on TikTok I've seen. Then he posted a story where like he's at Netflix's like headquarters or whatever, and then somebody found the exact same Netflix background he used, and just put it's just a virtual background.
Jerome needs to stop. He needs
So
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if that's the real guy or not. She hasn't confirmed that that's the real guy, but that's what TikTok says. And so it's just
Wow.
been a thing. So
That's quite
that's
the
been the most,
adventure.
that's been the most interesting thing I've seen recently. So
All right. Well, that
to
takes the cake.
Jerome.
Michelle, anything?
I guess so. I mean, the most interesting thing I've seen is so I'm such a nerd. I have you guys heard of College Humor? You've heard of it,
Yes.
Mhm.
right? Okay, so College Humor has like a an app called Dropout, and in the app they have a lot of different sub genres, shows, things like that. And one of, if not the only thing that I really watch on there is called Dimension 20, and it's like D&D. And I'm like, it's so good. I need everybody to watch it. It's like a TV show, but better. I hate
Yeah.
watching shows and movies. I feel like I'm not, I don't relate very well, to most characters and stuff. And so with these like fantasy things and like all of this, it's so fun. I'm watching a junior fantasy high junior year, and it's these like monsters or whatever, and all these people are the actors of these characters, and they're going through it's dementia, it's excuse me, it's Dungeons and Dragons, so it's like
Yeah.
it's super nerdy. It's so fun. These people are like, they really care about their characters. I've cried so much. Like, I have
Wow.
cried watching it. Like, I'm not kidding. It's so
That's
good.
awesome.
So that's what I've been watching, and a lot of just other podcasts too.
I didn't even know College Humor was still around. So the fact that they have like a whole
yeah.
app
They have
with
an app,
with
like,
Yeah, I didn't know
shows,
that.
yeah,
it's big.
that means that's crazy. Did you ever watch the Dungeons and Dragons movie?
What?
There's a Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out last year actually, and I went to go see it, and it wasn't bad. Like I've never played Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not a
Neither
D
have
and D.
I.
I'm not a D&D person, so but I went to the movie, and it was actually surprisingly good. And I was like, this is hilarious. There's good action. Like it stars Jean Rene Page from what's the show? Bridgerton, the first Bridgerton
Mhm.
season.
Mhm.
The what was he? The
The
Emperor.
really good-looking guy.
Exactly, the one that everybody has been talking about. So that guy, he's in there, and then Chris, not Pratt, not Evans. I think Chris Evans is his name. But anyways, one of those Chris's is in there. Chris Pine. He's in there too. So it's a good movie. It's actually pretty hilarious. So Dungeons and Dragons, if you want a fun movie that's related to what you already like.
Hell yeah. Sorry. I'm Googling it. I love it. It's so fun. I don't know how to explain it to you. Like, I've watched if not every single one, majority of these episodes, and it's just so like, it's so fun. It's just so fun. I don't know how else to explain it. You just have to watch it. I mean,
Nice.
it's great.
I'll take your word for it, Michelle.
Or you can just watch another podcast. I watch The Basement Yard, and it's just two guys screaming at each other. Two best friends.
Yes,
It's great.
that's cool. Perfect. Well, let's get into season 6. Sounds like everybody's watching some good stuff. I'm also watching Love Is Blind because we're doing a pod for that.
Please.
No.
I love it.
And Love Is Blind this season has been crazy. But yeah, season 6 of Gilmore Girls though. So I want to start things off. We have to. Lorelai, right? We have to start with Lorelai. Amanda's already stressed. Michelle's shaking her head. So I am Eleanor. I am out on Lorelai having a happy ending. I'm like, I don't want to say she doesn't deserve love,
She doesn't deserve
but it's just like what are you thinking, ma'am? So for those that have watched the season, obviously, if you haven't, if you're watching this review and you haven't seen season 6, I don't know why you're watching this review other than just us entertaining you. But Lorelai sleeps with Christopher at the end. At least that's what it's shown, like it's depicted as, right? Go ahead, Amanda. Go ahead. Go off.
You forgot about the whole rest of the season.
I'm about to talk about
You
it.
totally dodged her.
I'm going to talk about it.
Worst.
I'm going to talk about it. Let me get there, right? Lorelai sleeps with Christopher. At least that's what it assumed. Like she's in his bed. They cuddle at the end, right?
Yeah, she looks
No
sad,
matter
doesn't she?
like, so there's a whole build up to this, and you see it throughout the season of like her and Christopher's relationship getting back together. Like you see, and Rory mentioned it previously. Like she's like, you always come in and ruin things, and you see it. It literally, like I saw it coming, and I was like, bro, they better not. To the point where episode 15, I stopped and I looked up in Wikipedia what happens at the end because I couldn't deal with the stress. I was like, I need to know if Lorelai cheats because I was like, this looks like Lorelai's going to cheat on this man Luke, and lo and behold, she did. And that's been like the happy ending that I've wanted this entire time watching the show. And it just feels like the writer of the season just like rips that out. It's just like screw you, screw whatever you want. Like we're just gonna create a drama filled show. And I understand why she's mad, but I don't at the same time. And nothing that he did should fuel the response that she gave him to where she went into Christopher's arms. That's my thoughts. Feel free to share what you want to share, Amanda or Tyler or Michelle.
Why me?
Because you're Team
Because
Lorelai, Amanda. We
yeah,
all
you're
know it.
the
You
only
like
Lorelai.
Lorelai.
I do.
I am out on Lorelai. I didn't hate Lorelai
I
I
before.
was indifferent.
Now this season, hateless.
We're fighting.
Okay. So think about it from her perspective, though. Like, she has been shut out of her fiance's life. Like, how would you feel? Like, he's got a whole other life, basically. And she's like, she even said it herself, like in the last episode, like, she has kept all of her opinions and thoughts to herself, which is totally not like her. And just giving Luke his space, but he still doesn't respect the fact that she should be involved in like Luke's entire life. And I mean, I would be fed up with that too. Like if I was engaged and my fiance found out that he had a daughter, like first of all, that's a lot of feelings to be had and a lot of stuff going through your brain. And then for him to not want you to be a part of her life, I mean, she's got a question like, well, does he want me to be a part of his life? Like, I don't know. I just like I feel bad for her. I'm not like justifying the fact that it's okay for her to run to Christopher because obviously like Lorelai doesn't make good decisions. Hence like especially this one. But at the same time, like if you think about it from her perspective, I just feel so bad for her. Like that sucks.
Anybody else want to go off before I
No one feels bad for Lorelai.
No, because
No.
first of all, what I'm learning from the show is communication is key because they both suck at communication. Like I used to like Luke was on my like this is my guy list. After watching the season, I'm like, bro, your emotions are all over the place. Like you are just angry about stuff. You don't communicate, but then you get mad at Lorelai for not communicating about like her meeting with Christopher. I appreciate the fact that she started communicating to him like, hey, I'm going to go do this with Christopher, or we saw Christopher, things like that. Now, it is what it is now, but like she should have communicated her feelings. Like there was points in time there was clearly points in time, and it wasn't until the whole like slumber party thing where that kind of came out. But like she should have communicated to him like, hey, I want to be in her life, but like why? And she also she was pissed about the wedding thing too, like because June 3rd just like appeared to be the perfect date, and then now it's not happening on the perfect date. It's like throw the whole wedding away. Like what are you so scared of? That's like it was just it just communication just was trash this entire season when it came to Lorelai and Luke. But anyways, somebody else. I'll let somebody else take the floor. Taiwo, Michelle.
Taiwo?
Anything on Lorelai?
No, I'm fully on your side, and
I
I'm
just,
on
yeah, it's funny because at the beginning of the season, she was like, have I screwed this up like I always do? And, I was like, remember when what's his name proposed to her spontaneously?
Max.
Yeah. And it's just funny because I actually wasn't surprised. I was not. So, I mean, even though I wanted a happy ending for her, but A lot of times people with that kind of pattern, like emotional pattern, if they don't intentionally make different decisions, it just ends up being the same thing over and over again. And so I'm like, okay, you know, that's what she
What about
chose.
what about the fact that Luke kept April a secret for her for months?
2 months. Yeah.
For months. How? I
Mhm.
mean, like,
I mean,
what would you do if Namdi y'all were dating and 2 months
literally.
later, like, you didn't know?
I
You know,
know,
like,
but it's just I wouldn't react to the extreme.
Yeah,
Like
that's so
I've never been
extreme.
an extremist in any way. You know, I would
Ah,
react,
I
but it
don't think
won't
she
be like,
reacted to the extreme though. I don't think she.
oh,
I mean, she was like, "What the heck?" But she wanted to be involved in her life.
I understand that, and I don't. I just well, let me say, Luke's reaction was not the greatest, but knowing Luke, like I kind of understand why he did what he did. So it's like, if you want to be in people's life, just say that. Like I felt like I don't know if she took it like as disrespect from him. Like she was like, "I'm a mom," like she has a daughter. That's a daughter. Like I feel like one of the reasons why she started playing more role in Gigi's life is because of that too. Like April, like, Luke wouldn't let April. No, you're fine. The dog's fine. Luke wouldn't let April be in Lorelai's life to an extent, but then Chris let Lorelai be in Gigi's life, so that kind of built more of a bond too. I feel like it's like a trust thing. I understand Lorelai's like feelings. I feel like I can empathize with her, but I still don't like. I still don't feel like what she did was right. If that makes sense.
I
Like,
agree. I agree. Like, it was a bad choice. It was a bad decision.
because like to that point,
One
like,
that I think that she will immediately regret. Because, like, even in the last episode at the very end, like, she just looked, like Michelle said, like, she looked sad. She was like, I'm not
She looked
happy. Like,
full of regret.
I just need, like, someone to be with because I don't want to be alone. And she knew that,
Mhm.
like, it wasn't a good move.
yeah, but to cheat on your fiance,
Yeah,
like what if they were
too soon.
married? Like what if the same situation happened and you already had been married, right? Like he finds out about April after the wedding happens. Then what? Then the same like do you still maybe Luke's lesser in life because they're married now, but like it's just like I don't know, like to cheat on your fiance is kind of the craziest thing to me.
I
yeah,
also
that's
think, like,
crazy.
maybe in her mind, maybe she thought it was over with Luke because she said she literally was like, "Let's get married right now," and
Get
he
married
didn't
right
want to
now.
marry her. So if you don't want to marry me, then we're not going to get married, type
Yeah,
thing.
but right now
It's
doesn't
been
mean
months.
never.
It's been forever.
Well, whose fault is it that
Like
they
Luke's
were
the one.
waiting for Corey to begin
Like
with?
Luke's the one that even was like, "Let's just elope," and she was like, "Okay, let's elope. You said that was okay," and he still said
Yep.
no because of April, which is insane. But like in her mind, maybe she was like, "Oh, well, maybe he just doesn't want to marry me at all,"
Yeah, but
Which
and then
also
she's
like,
which
just wasting her
my
time.
God, just communicate that. Heavens to
Uh,
Betsy,
yes,
like
yes,
just
yeah,
need
I
to
agree.
talk
I
it
agree.
out.
Communication it would have been key in this relationship. Obviously, it's a show, so there's gonna be drama, but communication will be. But I agree with that statement. Like the whole but I don't think that's Luke's fault. Like the her feeling like the marriage is gonna happen, never gonna happen, came from one everybody else kind of doubting when the marriage because it starts with the beginning of the season Suki pushing her to set a date, right? Like Suki's like, when is the date going to be? And she's like, you're never going to get married, and so that creates doubt in her mind. And then like she finally does like set a date, everything's planned, and then like she's like kind of ease of mind, like we actually are going to get married, and then date doesn't happen because of April. So now in her mind, she's like, okay, I didn't get married to Max. I've been with all these guys. I've never been married. I'm just never going to get married. So I understand, like I was saying, I understand kind of like all of her feelings, but I don't know. It's just nothing
I
in
get it
me
too,
can
but
empathize enough to be like, Lorelai, I still like you. I hate Lorelai. I
Well, I
absolutely
wouldn't
hate
hate her
Lorelai.
like that,
hater
but
gonna
No,
go.
hate, hate, hate,
I
hate
hate.
We're
Lorelai.
That's
sad.
the word.
I
Hey,
get her
man.
feelings
Better
too,
decision.
but like she was the one that started like the whole we're not gonna sit and date until we have Rory back. Well, now we have Rory back,
And
okay,
she was
and
ready
now
to
there's
set
a
a
whole
date.
different right, and she wanted to set the date, but now
Here's
there's a
the
whole different situation. So why is that different than what? Like that doesn't make sense. Oh, now because it's not in my the ball is not in my court.
I wish
Now
I had
we just
special effects to be like ding ding
I,
ding, like brr, 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 like point made. I wish something I'm gonna invest into is like special effects for this show.
a little
Yeah.
Yeah,
soundboard.
exactly.
But it doesn't make sense. It's like, well, if things aren't going my way, it's going wrong, and it's like, well, that's just not life. That's not how it works, especially in relationships. I feel like though I understand her feelings towards this situation, but I definitely disagree. I think if I was to side with one or the other, I would definitely be siding with Luke. Um, Luke is not the kind of person to share his feelings well.
Very true.
Um, you know, it's April sprung up on her out of the blue, right? And so I think what's happening is he's trying to process, okay, I have a kid. Do I want to be in her life? Not does Lorelai want to be in her life? I need to figure out what my relationship to this kid is, and do I have one? So how long is that going to take? I don't know. Let me just focus on it. Would it have been better that he communicated? Absolutely. It'd be nice if everybody went to therapy in the show. Maybe not with Kirk because Kirk sounds like the most rounded person here. So, but
That's funny.
it's just so like I don't know. I think I understand from Luke's perspective now, finding out he has a 12-year-old out of the blue. Like he's trying to figure out, well, what's my relationship with this kid? This is my daughter. What do I do? And do I want Lorelai, like to be a part of that? And I get, that her whole thing is like, oh, well, I'm a mom. I get it. Like, whatever. I've been down these streets before, and it's like, well, I'm a dad, and that's great, but let me figure it out, and I don't think it's necessarily a disrespect, but I think there's a boundary there, allow the boundary to be opened up to you. Don't just get offended when a boundary's put and go sleep with somebody that you don't need to be sleeping with.
Well, but on the other side of things, to Amanda's point, is Luke and Lorelai have been friends. They were friends even before the whole wedding thing and getting married and all of that. So I feel like, as a friend, as someone that let's even put romantic, you know, feelings aside, as a friend, I think he should have at least told her, you know, that
Yeah,
about April.
I get
And
that, but I think that it depends. Like if you found out today that you have a daughter, like would you immediately tell Namdi, or would you be like, okay, give me a second, let me process what's going on? Now, would it take 2 months to figure that out? I don't
two
think so.
months is a long time.
Months is a long time. I mean, everybody processes differently, right? But would you really tell him
I
immediately?
will. I think I would take time to process it, but I would also say I'm not ready to talk about it now. But I have a daughter, but I'm not
Right.
ready to have that long conversation. When I'm ready, we can have that conversation. I think even
Yeah, yeah.
if he's not ready, but just bringing it up and then letting her know that when I'm ready to process, when I'm done processing, then we can have that conversation. But here's the
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
thing is, too, is she let him process. Like, she stayed out of it.
Yep.
I'm still not on her side. I'm sorry.
She did.
No,
She did.
not going to convince
But
me.
She
but
did.
to
Yes,
let
she
him
did.
process, but then stew in your own feelings, I don't feel like that's. Again, we talk about communication. That's the biggest thing that this show lacks is. But it's a drama for a reason. There's these things that happen for a reason. So but yeah, if you would communicate it, hey, I'm letting you do your deal, but I really want to be in April's life, or as your future wife, I should be,
But that's
doing
I
these
feel like
things.
that's yeah, but that's not
That's what.
really a total
That's not
decision.
Lorelai.
Yeah, but even because April had a mother too, right?
Anna, which Anna
So
was uncomfortable with Lorelai being in his life too.
exactly. So even if she wanted to be in April's life, I don't think that would have been up to her because
Right.
there was April's mom, and you know.
But she does state in the whole like when she before she feels like her and Luke are done. When she's like, Anna said it's okay. She's like, Anna said it's okay. We can be together. So there is that approval, but I don't know. Like it's just all these emotions got to a point where it just bubbled up so much that she just like, well, I'm done. I just need to go somewhere else. And I hate the fact that the other place was Chris. Like that's what I hate. And again, you see it throughout the season. Like
Freaking Christopher.
where's
But
our other
nobody's
friends? Like
holding
go
Chris.
to Stookies. Like why you have to go to Christopher's?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, nobody was holding Chris responsible for all these things that he's been doing.
I
As
mean,
well.
but
Yeah.
Chris still, they both have their deal, right? Where they're just drawn to each other for some reason. And because
Yeah.
after Max Mina, it was Chris, right? Or during Max Mina, it was Chris. So it's like at this point, I just want her to end up with Chris. Like I get away from Luke. Like stop. No. I don't like. I wanted my dream ending to the show was Lorelai and Luke be happily ever after. But now after this, my boy getting cheated on, absolutely not. He doesn't know. No,
You
do
broke
not.
the last guy that we wanted to keep.
Yes,
unbroken.
like no, you deserve Christopher. Like Christopher should be your guy. That should be y'all and Luke. I don't know, bro. Figure it out. Maybe get with Anna, who I don't know what happens, but that is the result I want moving forward. I thought it was going to be Luke and Lorelai, but I don't want that anymore. That's not. I am.
I don't think I even care about Lorelai's happiness. I just want Luke to be happy.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all such haters.
Which I don't like. Luke again. Luke did anger me this season.
He was annoying this season.
He was like him being on the beach and him like it's trash. I'm like, bro, enjoy the beach. You're on Martha's Vineyard. Like, have some fun.
Yeah.
In your life. Like, you don't have to just be like a pessimist all the time. Like, but what was weird is I like this season felt like that, and I think the writers did it on purpose to like I won't say push him from Lorelai, but like just make the connection kind of break a little bit, right? So that Chris can enter. Like I feel like that was on purpose. But this season he was way more annoying than usual, which was interesting. So, any other thoughts on Lorelai and Luke, or just Lorelai? Period.
I'm so curious to see.
Amanda's face is hilarious.
I'm curious to see what happens. I'm curious if this, like, is this going to be the next thing that she hides? You know, is she going to be honest about this in the realm of honesty? Are we going to talk about it? You know, in the next season? And I wonder, is Rory going to be pissed off when she finds out too? Like, I don't know. I'm curious everyone's perspective on, like, in the show, what that's going to look like and stuff. So.
And that brings us perfectly to Rory and her relationship. These people, it's just this show. Like that's literally all I can say about this season was just like this show. Like it was just crazy. So Rory is with, or I guess technically they broke up. What's Logan, yeah, Logan. Rory and Logan are broken up at the beginning of the season, or on a break, I guess I should say. Was that the beginning of the season, or was it the middle of the season?
Was it?
I think it was like the very first episode.
It was the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
because that's when Lorelai and Rory were reunited, and I cried.
Did you?
I did.
I was happy
when they hugged. I cried again.
So just to touch on that, we can talk about that too. So I was happy. Like the show fell off with them being, separate from each other. So
yeah.
Did anybody else cry?
I thought it was
I also cried at the very end when Logan left, but that's a different story.
Why?
Yeah, why?
Because it was sad. said.
Oh,
So Logan's a
I cried.
so so Amanda cries a lot. Um,
That's funny.
yeah, that's
so
hilarious.
Logan, in my opinion, is a good dude, but what he did, I don't know. Like, I don't. I feel like he's a d bag. Like he's just a d bag, but he's trying to be good for Rory. Like, how y'all feel about? Okay, let's just talk about it. How y'all feel about what he did during the break between him and Rory, and him sleeping with all these girls, right? Not just girls, his sister's friends, which is so weird. That's so weird. But what do you the like? Was his actions justified because you're on the break? It kind of reminds me of Friends. But was his
Yeah, but
You
actions
were on a
also,
justified?
break.
what does that mean? Let's
Well,
okay, we're probably gonna jump into Friends a little bit too. What does it mean when you're on a break? Are you broken up, or are
so
you
Well,
taking
clearly
a
Logan thought they were
sabbatical?
broken up because he told Honor, his sister, that they were broken up. So
He
in
did.
his
That's
mind,
true.
they were.
So then he assumed that they were broken up, and she thought they were just taking a step.
They were just pausing.
Yeah.
So is
Okay.
he wrong for what he did since they were broken up?
But we didn't establish whether they're broken up or
Yeah,
not.
we have. I don't think it's established
So based
because
on what
one
based off the
person thinks
season.
one thing.
So
I
yeah, but
mean,
I'm curious. What do y'all think? Did y'all think they were broken up? Like, do you feel
I
like
don't think I did.
They
I
were
thought they were
paused.
just taking a pause. I think it depends on what perspective you're taking. Because if they were broken up, then it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It hurts, sure, but it's like you're broken up. He's not yours anymore. Get over it. If you're taking a break where you pause for a game and then you go grab a drink and then you come back to the game, you're paused, right? So you're not broken up. It's not over. Then yeah, you did cheat. You're a horrible person. But I don't know. I think I don't
I
like
get what you're
Logan.
saying.
But was
I
there
get.
anything?
So go tell her.
Was there anything Rory did that indicated to Logan that they were broken up?
She didn't talk to him. They stopped. They just stopped talking. Communication was cut.
she
But
didn't just stop talking to him. She like avoided him.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
the coffee cart thing where she
That's
wouldn't.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
He kept on. So
from that perspective, then it's like,
yeah, but no. But here's the thing, though. I get that. Yes, sure. They were not together, but it wasn't that long that you weren't together. Maybe a couple months. What 3 4 since I think it was like November, and then they got back together. The beginning of the semester or whatever, somewhere with that time frame. So Thanksgiving to January or February, they were not together. If my girlfriend, we broke up and or even broke up, and then we like I find out we get back together in January and she slept with 4 guys,
that's a
I'm gonna
lot.
be I'm gonna be distraught. Like I'm gonna be like,
Or, dang.
what? You know, like I understand Rory's reaction and I understand why she was hurt because I get even if you're broken up,
Yeah.
but it's still like you in that time frame we were broken up, you still were pursuing me, right? So like for her, she's like we weren't broken up, you still were pursuing me, so showing me that you still wanted to be my boyfriend, and you still and I like still felt the need to not felt the need. He's a guy, but he still went out and you know my sister's friend, like your sister's friends, like that's I don't know. I would be like, bro, no,
Yeah, that's not okay.
That was a lot.
that's not okay.
Not one, not two.
It was like 4, right? Because it was the
And
one girl
then
on
the
the
way
couch.
that Rory found out about it too, like that doesn't make it any better.
Exactly, the action is terrible. But yeah, finding out like from the girls in the room and they're all being like, oh yeah, that's Logan's girlfriend, and like they're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we all slept with him. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
That would be terrible. Like imagine
Yeah.
I'm thinking as a guy, like knowing that all the guys in the room slept with your girlfriend. Like, no, I don't want
Wild.
to. I was gonna,
Say it.
I
We all
don't-
know
I
what
don't
you were
want the-
thinking.
I don't want the girls been passed around. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Oh
So-
goodness.
So,
Yeah.
but Logan, I feel like I don't know that outside of that situation, I feel like he's been a good dude. Like it sucks that his life's kind of just like dictated by his father, but outside of that, like he's been great. But Michelle, I'm curious, like why do you dislike Logan? Like what is it about him that you don't like?
I think he comes off as a kind of douchey. I think that
I agree.
there's a level of like, I think, I don't necessarily, I don't hate him 100%. I just, he seems very like, what is it? Like he has a little bit of Jason essence. I don't know what that is.
Pompousness.
Like,
You
yeah,
just hate
that's
rich
probably,
people. You just hate the rich. You know, that's what it is.
yeah, I just hate the rich. That's what it is. I don't hate like Richard and Emily, but whatever. That's how that works.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
No, it's there, yeah. There's some like a level of arrogance that he has that I really don't like. Like if you took away the arrogance, I feel like he would be kind of the perfect guy for Rory. He's super smart, has money, sure, and then like he has like a lot going for him. But I think the arrogance kind of weighs down all of the good things a little bit. That's why I don't really care for him too much. Um,
See, I understand what you're saying, but I don't see it with him because he goes out of his way to not be like his family, like his dad, right? Like he still lives a lifestyle. Like he still has
Yeah.
like he goes on the vacations. They go to Martha's Vineyard. Obviously, they've been there a lot because Rory's like, I cook here, and this is what I've done, and all this stuff during their vacation. But like he's I don't know, he's very like kind and like to her, but even to Rory's family. Like he was so nice to Luke, like giving him that necklace to give to Lorelai. I was like, bro, that was a great move. Like that's a and then Luke. See, that was also I was pissed at Luke. Luke's pretending like he's a terrible guy, and he's being the nicest person to Luke. Anyways, don't get me started. Luke was annoying me this season. This season just annoyed me because everybody kind of shifted. But yeah, so
I
that's
think I agree with you. Like, yeah, he's nice to Rory. He's good to Rory. He's sweet with her family and everything. But I think there are instances where you can see a little bit of arrogance here and there, where it's like, well, okay, I don't like that about you. Now, is he my favorite character? I don't know. I think he's better than most of the guys, but then we get a lot of other guys. So I'm kind of confused now on what like makes sense for Rory, especially with
yeah.
jumping into the picture every now and then. Now I'm confused. I don't know anything anymore. I'm so confused.
I love Logan. Y'all know I've been Team Logan from the beginning.
Why do you like it?
Why?
Yeah, she's like,
I have the guys she dated. I mean, I'm Team Logan too. Like I have the guys she's dated.
Oh, really?
Because
Logan's
I
the
think
best.
that Logan, even though yes, I agree, like there is some arrogance to him, he also like is very similar to Rory and like compliments her really well. Like you said, when that episode where he came in and helped like save the paper, I think like that was a really good view into like how they work together in their relationship outside of like, oh yeah, he's rich and I do fun things with him. It's like, no, like he is smart. He actually like has an interest in what Rory does, and they talk about books and all those things. And at the same time, like he is rich, and it's like Rory, I think, isn't necessarily used to being around people like Logan, but he's not like flashy in your face. Like he just wants her to be happy and like take care of him. I don't know. Deep in my heart and my soul, I think like Logan really like has changed for Rory, like for the better. I think last season he was of course way more arrogant, way more
pompous.
sure. I was just gonna say like immature, like more
I feel like
immature.
not. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
But as he's like they're growing up in this new season, and like he's graduated college and he's thinking about his future and like what's gonna happen with their future, I think like he's way more mature, and I feel like he's just someone that could really like take care of Rory. And it is also an added bonus, like in the back of my mind, Richard and Emily really like him. And so it's also like a part of their life that she could still have with Logan. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can see that.
I like him.
But I think it's a little weird too that Jess kind of popped up.
I was gonna
Do
get
you
to
think
that.
it's weird, or do you
I
think
think it's
it's?
the writer just trying to
I mean, it's
put
the
more
writers, right? But
drama.
like, also, I'm not cool with it. Like, it's just annoying, you know.
Well,
But,
there had
but
to be some type of like third element because she was listening to Emily and Richard. She was listening to
right,
her mom. So there had to be something that came inside
Yeah.
like her life that told her you're off track. And so that's what I thought about too. That's what made me remember like Jess. That's when she went back. That's when it broke up too. Was the whole Jess
Mm.
situation because he was like I agree with what Amanda said. He has shown growth because the Logan that was super pissed at Jess was not the same Logan at the end of the season. Like they
Mhm.
are two, in my opinion, they seem like two different guys. Like he seems more confident in himself. Not
Mm.
maybe because he's kind of accepted the fact that he has to kind of like live the lifestyle he's going to live with his dad. Maybe that's it. I'm not too sure. But that Logan that was like pompous and arrogant dealing with Jess, I didn't see that in the season.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I
I
agree.
did think it was interesting though, because like Jess coming back, I think it was so cool how they worked him in to these episodes because one, like he helps Rory get back on track, but two, like they seem like they are older, which is like also cool. It's like, dang, have I really been watching this for like years? Because she's like, oh yeah, this is my friend from whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, like you're like a whole adult and you have
Yeah.
friends from a long time ago. Anyways, it was cool, but it didn't surprise me that Jess still had feelings for Rory.
Yeah, that kind of makes me a little sad for him now. Now, and I think it's because I feel like he's kind of becoming the man that he should be, right?
Yes.
I think now I feel some pity because before he was this little kid that like really just wanted to punch everybody in the face, like and just be crazy. Versus now where he's written a book and he's doing his own thing, and now I
Yeah.
feel a little sad for him that he doesn't have Rory, because I feel like there's still he may not have the money and whatever. He reminds me of Luke, right? Like it I could see them together, but I can obviously see Logan and Rory together as well. Probably more so than Jess. But I mean, you have two great candidates, so
Yeah. So something you said, man, like I wanted to mention too, is this is the first season that I felt like what's the actress that plays Rory? What's her name?
Um,
Let me
Right.
look it up
I
real
don't know
quick.
why. I don't know why I'm blanking.
I figured you would know.
I do know. I just like Alexis
uh,
Bledel.
yes,
Yes.
Alexis. This
Yeah.
this this is the first season where I've watched her and I've been like, she actually looks older. Every other season I've
yeah,
watched, she seemed like she's like 16. This is the
Hmm.
first season where I'm like, she looks like a woman. Like she looks like she's older. She actually looked attractive in this season. Versus other seasons, I'm like, this is just a little girl. Like the girl that they try to portray Lorelai to be this sexy woman. I'm like, Alexis Bledel actually looked good this season. I was like, this is the first time she's looked like she's older, and like it was just interesting to me because I was like, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, she looked, and so Jess too. He looked older too. So I was like, this
Hmm.
is interesting to see them grow up in the show too. Like they seem old. Logan still seems like he's young. I looked up their ages too. He's older than her, but he still
Yeah.
looks like he's like I don't know 20. I guess I don't know. It's just so funny seeing these actors play young kids and they're
Pretty
like
young
28.
kids.
Yeah. So, but yeah, their relationship's interesting. Jess popping up out of nowhere is interesting. What are your thoughts on the way Rory just dipped out on Emily and Richard? Because I feel like
I
Rory
think they
kind of
should
just
show them.
does her own thing and it just leaves people. Like, I feel like there's a pattern. But what are y'all's
Yes.
thoughts?
Taiwo, did you have something?
I feel like even though Emily's can be such a pain in the,
I'm the behind.
he's like whining and like talking and like trying to control every single aspect.
let me buy a
And
plane.
I know, like, and trying to and treating
Let me
her like a
frivolous.
baby, and like, it's like a radio that never stops working. I'm like, get your if you don't. And so I think, even though like I think that's probably her way of showing. I don't know. She needs therapy. Like Michelle was saying, these people they all need therapy. But I think at least Emily should have told them. But I mean, Rory should have told Emily. But I understand her not telling because it's frustrating to be treated that way. And like, I just want to get out of here and get back to the life that I've always known, or try and get back to some sort of control.
Hmm.
But I think she at least deserved to know because she cares about Rory, and that's her way of showing you know that she cares. But yeah.
I agree. Like I think like Rory's a grown up. Like she should just be like upfront and be like, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna move out." Instead of just like sending the guys in there to get all her stuff and then them just like finding out. But at the same time, like I'm not mad at about the way she did it because you're 21 years old living with your grandparents who did not raise you, and like I mean, yes, respect them, but also like her grandma literally is like has this pastor telling her like not to have sex, and she's like, oh, I already done that, and it's like you
Oh
can't
my
control my
gosh,
life.
that
Like
was stupid.
she basically got kicked out of the pool house and moved like into the room right next to her grandparents, and she's like 21. She has a boyfriend. She can't live her normal life because her
Yeah.
grandparents are like sheltering her, and that's not something that Rory's used to. So like, yeah, I would leave. Of course, I'd probably tell my grandparents like peace out, but I mean, at the same time, I'm not mad. Like she did what she had to do, I guess, and I think she also realized like she didn't belong there in the first place. So,
Mm-mm.
yeah, that was kind of fun.
I
They
just I
keep trying to. Sorry, go. Never
no,
mind.
go ahead, Tom. Go off.
They keep trying to. I don't. Maybe
Live.
compensate
Hmm.
for the like have another Lorelai in Rory. Like
Yeah,
maybe kind of like the
Yeah.
mistake that they made with Lorelai and trying to like overcompensate for that with Rory. You know,
I
and
definitely agree with that. That's my
that's
point too, because it's like you can see it. I mean, you can absolutely see it. They treat her as if she's theirs. They do want to have that do over. You can see it. You can tell. And Rory is really good at just kind of playing the part, and kind of being a part of the DAR and all that kind of stuff. And she is what her grandparents would have wanted in a daughter, and so
Mhm.
it is kind of
Yeah.
sad how she
Yeah.
left. It would have been nice if they all just communicated, but it is what it is, and so it sucks though too because this is like this. I think this is what the second time that they have a wedge, Rory and the
Mhm.
grandparents. Second
Yeah.
time they have a wedge in
Yeah.
their relationship, and so it's like, was it really necessary? Was it really worth it? I don't think so. You can just talk to them. You can just talk to them and tell them, "Hey, I'm moving out because you guys are treating me like a child. You guys aren't my parents." In the
Mm.
nicest way possible. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's tough to do though because they are still paying for Yale at that point,
Mhm.
which she didn't tell them about Yale either. So I did love the episode where they just kind of just talk it out
Yes,
like they
I was
just
literally about to say that when Michelle was like, everyone needs therapy. I'm like, there was that one episode where they had it like a whole therapy session as a family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was one of my favorite episodes in the season.
I
That
yeah
think
one.
you're
And
right
then
on
when
that
Emily
as
told
well.
Shira off at that party, like that was like my
Yeah.
favorite. But I thought it was so funny because it's like they're getting out all of these like problems and grievances that they all have with each other. And then it's like you're laughing, you're crying. And then at the end of the, night, they're all like joking. And that was fun.
yeah.
Anyways.
No, I love that. I love that episode too. So I agree with what you're saying because they finally got like stuff out in the open, which is healthy, right? Everybody's kind of just had stuff bottled in about their anger, and
Mhm.
they just dissipate. I just hit my microphone. But what was I going to say? I was going to say something about Rory, and I lost it. Oh yeah. So my thought on that is just like the way she moved. Rory literally just like she's kind of similar to Lorelai in the fact that she's in her own world and she kind of just comes into people's lives like a tornado and then just leaves. Like she's like, I'm out of here. Like I'm just gonna move how I'm gonna move, and that you have to respect it, right? Like she comes into Dean's life, messes up his marriage. You don't see her like apologize to Dean. Nothing.
Mhm.
She's out that mug, and then Dean kind of has to pick up the pieces. And then like you see like her have a disagreement with Lorelai, so she's like, "I'm leaving you and
You
going
went to a whole
to my
different country.
grandparents." And then this disagreement with her grandparents, she's like, "I'm out. I'm going to Lane's." And so it's just I feel like it's a pattern of like coming in people's lives and just leaving however you want to because she is I don't know. That's what I'm seeing
Yeah.
watching Rory operate. She just does her own thing, and you gotta either live with it or not. And I think Lorelai is the same.
Yeah.
So that might be the reason why. Thoughts?
And the same, she's the same in relationships because she obviously doesn't do that to the people that are in the town, right?
Yeah.
But what, like, are you saying that she's the same as far as relationships goes? Like, she screws something up, she leaves, or
Well, no, I'm talking about like just in the way the examples I gave, right? Like she just comes into
yeah,
people's lives, like, close, yes, like relationships, yes, because technically not just romantic, but like Emily and Richard, same situation. Like she came into their lives hot and heavy, and then as soon as there was like disagreements, she dipped out of their place. And I understand why. Like I
no,
get
yeah,
why she left, but it just seems like there's a pattern of like her entering somebody's life and then leaving. Only person that she's kind of been consistent with is until obviously the whole news thing. But it was what's the I'm blanking on names today. What's her best friend?
Suki.
No, not Lorelai.
Who?
oh,
Rory.
Lynn,
Oh, Paris.
Lane?
Not Lane.
Lane?
Sorry,
Paris.
other
Who?
other best friend, Paris. There you go.
Paris.
Paris. I don't think they're best friends. Okay, I think
Yeah, well,
Paris.
My roommate.
They're
Well,
health.
well,
They're
well, well,
competition. They're like that's my healthy competition.
I mean, they
They're
they they
friends.
Paris called her best friend,
Yeah.
and
yeah, I
they
don't think
were
so.
really good friends until
To
the
Paris because she
news
has no
editor
friend.
situation,
Mhm.
and she kicked them out. But then even after that, they mitigate their differences um, towards what was it, episode 16 or 17, something like that.
Mm.
After Doyle, or anyways.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
so yeah, Rory's interesting. Lorelai's interesting. I do want to talk about Lane as well, since obviously that's part of Rory's life. But
Lean.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of Zach.
Me
I'm
neither. I
not.
Me
told y'all
too.
last time. I can't stand
I
this
want so
guy.
much more for her. Like
I do
She's
too.
so
Like
stupid.
He's so. I just want to
she's
punch
such
him
a
in the
good
face.
kid.
Me too.
like
Let's go.
like his reaction. First of all, he's writing songs about other women, and
Yeah.
then his best friend writes a song about a girl named Lane, not Lane herself, but says, you know what, I can make a song about Lane. He gets jealous, and it just messes up everything. Like they have dreams, they have this big gig, messes
Mhm.
up everything, and then they break up. Like it's just these dudes just dumb, and he's not smart. Period. Like, what does he do for work? I forget what he does for work, but it's just like I don't know
I
what
don't know.
Lane sees in him other than him being like the lead of a band, and women find that hot apparently.
I can't stand that guy.
I hate him.
Can't.
Yeah, he's
Ugh.
like just an idiot. Like, wow, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised you made it.
And I'm so
You
and
know.
I'm so surprised that Mrs. Kim was like, yeah, like there was no pushback other than you have to show me you can provide for my Lane. Like all this time, all these seasons, she's been like, he needs to be Korean, he needs to be Christian, he's all these different things, and she says he asked her for marriage, and she's just like, play me music and you're good to go. I was like, what's this switch up? You
I
know
don't know
what I
what
mean?
the
Like
writer was trying to do there, but
I don't know either, but
I
I
think
respect.
it's kind of fun. Like,
Do
listen,
you?
no. Listen, like I don't like this guy. He's annoying as heck. I want to punch him in his face, but at the same time, like Lane's this like rebel, like
True.
non-traditional, and she's like in purple hair in a band. Like fast, like rewind back to the 90s when I'm growing up, and like my older sister is like learning how to play bass guitar, and like you're all punk rock and you think like life is so cool, and like you have these like little infatuations with like leaders of the band or just like different boy bands or different things like that. I think that's kind of like the narrative of like Lane and Zach. Because I think at this time, like when they first were filming this, it's like that was a thing, you
Yeah,
know?
I get you.
So like I think it's fun that it's a whole, you know, like thing. I just wish Zach was a little bit more smart.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. We are reviewing this in 2024, so
Yeah.
our viewpoint's a little bit
It
different than
aired in 2005.
Yeah.
exactly. So that
Remember
does
that.
make sense. But I
I
think I'm just spurred because the perfect relationship to me would have been Dave Rogalski. Like I
I
think
love I love
that's
Adam
the guy
Brody.
that I think would have been the perfect fit for Lane. And then
the one
like,
before, the one that left the band, right?
Hmm.
mhm.
Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah.
He was the
I,
best
that
one.
was that was my like you shooting him with this like relationship wise. I like if Lorelai didn't cheat, it would have been Luke and Lorelai. This is like the perfect ending. Luke and Lorelai. I think Rory and Logan would have been perfect, and then Lane and Dave Rogalski, relationship wise.
And that's the end of
So
the show, boys.
I wish,
I do
I
End of
think
the
wish.
it was
show.
funny how like Mrs. Kim though was like hiding her religion and all that stuff from her mom. Like
Mhm.
after all this time she was giving Lane like all of this crap about her, you know. It's like she did the same thing. I thought that was a
Right?
fun little twist.
Yeah, yeah. That was fun. So wrapping up, what was everybody's favorite moments from the season, or moments you hated? Anybody have like a specific moments that remember that they really enjoyed? I will say a couple of them for me. One was when they're all in the window looking at Luke and April as they were like coloring whatever, and then
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That
because
was a
like
good.
because like Lorelai's sitting there, obviously looking. Everybody starts looking. They start talking about Luke and April, and then you just see like, and I was like, "Can you see them?" Like that's what I was wondering the entire time. I was like, "Can you see them?" And he literally looks over to his left, and you just see this view of everybody in town just looking at you with your daughter. Like that was the funniest part to me.
Yeah.
One of the funniest parts. That was one of my favorite moments. I'm trying to think of other moments. This
One of
season
my
pissed me off a
favorite
lot.
one
Go ahead.
one of my favorite moments was the DAR event that Rory threw. And when that event happened, when Emily and Richard found out that Lorelai was right the entire time, and like what was funny to me was that one Richard was like, Lorelai was right. Like, obviously she was right. Like, you didn't believe your own daughter. Like, she didn't just like pull it out her butt and make this up. But it was funny because, like, Emily just has the power to be so ruthless. And like the way that she approached Shira Hutzberger, like I was literally like, yes, yes, Emily, tell her. Like she literally went off. It was the funniest thing to me. I loved it.
I
Yeah.
think that was
No,
my favorite part too. It's so good. That I mean, way to come at it from the to the jugular. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think it was funny too when they were in that room talking.
Mhm.
I think it was at the DR that event where like is Lorelai, and then like they realized that Lorelai was right, and then and then Emily's like, we can't mess this up with Rory. She's like, the only thing that messes up with Rory is she gets pregnant. And then Laura's
Oh
like,
yeah.
well, I'm out of. She's like, well, I'm out of here, and she leaves. And then Richard's like mad because he's like she's planning tea parties and working at DAR, and then Emily's like, so now you're saying what I do sucks. Like it's kind of like they all just kind of like step on each other's toes. Like
Yeah.
Richard
That was
doesn't want
funny.
Rory to be Emily. Emily doesn't want Rory to be Lorelai. It's like
Yeah.
it's
What a circle of life, man.
Crazy.
Anybody else? Any other favorite moments or moments that you didn't like about the season? Obviously, clearly, I hate the fact that Lorelai
Yeah,
cheated on
the ending was
Luke.
trash.
Um, it wasn't trash, but definitely not what I wanted
I
because
was
it definitely
disappointed. I was
it
heavily
creates
disappointed.
exactly it creates more drama. But anybody else, Tyrell, any fun moments?
Not really, but I always like when they show the French dude. What's his name?
Michelle,
Michelle.
Michelle.
Yeah,
I
I
love
like
him.
when I see him. it puts a little bit of sense of humor into all the craziness going on.
The
So
funniest,
Actually,
the funny
I
part was
loved
when
when he
Rory
was
came back and
excited.
And
Yes,
Michelle was like so excited. He was like Rory, and then we were
yeah.
like, why are you smiling and talking like that?
that was a good moment. That made me pretty happy. I was like, wow, he has feelings. This is great.
Perfect. So last question. I gave my ideal relationships without spoiling anything.
Amanda's not allowed to
What
say it.
what? No, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, we're about to go into the last season anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But who would be the ideal relationships for Rory and for Lorelai for you guys? You
Luke
got
and
all you gotta
Logan.
know who they end up with, but let me know who you guys would want them to end up with.
Luke and Logan.
Luke and Logan.
Yeah.
I think if Lorelai didn't cheat, it would be Luke and Logan. But because she did, I'm bitter, and I would rather her not break his heart anymore and stay with Chris.
Same.
No, she doesn't deserve Chris. Well,
I think
anyway.
she does. She treats him. She treats everybody just as bad as he does. I think that you shouldn't be allowed to talk to any other man ever because you're just kind of a horrible person for doing what you did. But whatever.
Is that well?
I'll
Ideal,
say
ideal.
I'll say Luke and Logan, but also like Jess. If you assume Jess became like more mature and just all of that, I would love for them to be together. But since the writer didn't portray him to be that, so we're not sure. So I'll go with
Yeah.
Luke and Logan.
Yeah, and just like Michelle said, ideally it was Luke and Lorelai, but since she cheated on my boy, I'm like, nah, man. You can have Chris. You want Chris? Go be with Chris. Don't if
Chris is
if
just
Luke
trash. Oh my
if
gosh.
Luke takes his girl back in season 7, first of all, she better tell him. This is me first time watcher expressing my feelings. Lorelai better tell Luke. She better tell my boy that she cheated. He better not take her back. I don't want them to get married. I don't want a happy ending anymore. I hope Rory and Logan end up together, and Logan, figure out a situation to like not have to deal with his dad. But we will see. Season 7. That wraps up our season 6 review. We will see what happens in season 7. Last season. That
Last
season will be
season.
live broadcasted on YouTube, so check us out. But appreciate you guys for tuning in to season 6 review of the Gilmore Girls.
Landed the plane.